Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, this is Eddie Marcus, spokesman and advocate of basic human rights for all people. You know, my mission basically is to give you something that I have learned that I'm convinced that most people haven't learned. And yet at the same time, I recognize that I'm not the only one, so I seek out people who I'm quite convinced that are just as aware. And in doing that, we sometimes get together and we try to have a conversation just amongst ourselves and share it with you, hoping that you might get something out of it. So what I'm doing right now, I'm here with TS, the founder, first of all, of African American Conscience back in the day. We've been there for quite some time. And now we are here doing what we've always been doing, sticking to that which is important to us in our lives. I stopped by here to talk with my friend, haven't talked to him in a couple of weeks, just to see where his head has been and where we're going to go. What's been up, my man? Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry. This is brother TS Arnice. I left his name out because I know you always hear them. I'm thinking that you're so familiar with it, but yes, this is T. For those of you who don't know, this is TS Arnice. Okay, brother, tell me what's up. What you been doing?
First, it's Servant TS.
Oh, servant TS Arnice. Okay.
And we're at the village in St. Paul, 858 Thomas Avenue, at the corner of Victoria and Thomas. And I don't know if you can tell, but my man just woke me up. I was getting some good sleep in. I don't get a lot of sleep anymore, man. I don't know what that's from, maybe, but I get like possibly 2 hours, 3 hours at night. Then I wake up and be up, and then the daytime I fall back to sleep. I don't know what's going on there.
Well, I think it's basically a routine. We both do that. You get a couple hours sleep, fall and wake up. Me, myself, I wake up in the middle of the night and try to go write and make some notes if anything is on my mind. Yeah. And if it's interesting enough, maybe think about it a little bit, maybe do a post. But yeah, I understand exactly where you're coming from.
I utilize the night. I do most of my study at that time. But I just think that's not, it's not healthy. That I'm not getting sleep. I don't feel like anything. I feel good, but no sleep. I mean, pretty much, I don't know if it's just getting older or whatever that is, but I'm watching it. So you want to discuss some things, Eddie. So what's on your mind?
We'll basically find out, we're dealing with the same problems we've always been dealing with, our society. People being abused and misused, and for all the efforts that have been made to try to stop it, it's not stopping. In fact, it seems to be spreading. So I know you've been thinking about it. So what's been on your mind about that?
Well, I'm not for sure if you caught. There was a show on YouTube with Dr. Umar Johnson and this sister by the name of Cynthia G. And it's big on the viral tip right now. And the last time I talked or I heard that sister talking, she had dissed black men pretty hard. And in this video, she was with another sister by the name of Tracy something, I believe. I could be wrong. And there's another brother with Brother Umar, and the two women were bashing the black men, and Umar and the brother was defending. So I definitely think we need to start there talking this morning about the black female and male relation, because I believe it's epic, man, for us to get it together. And I always know the black conservatives blame black folks for everything, but when I hear sisters like that talk, I mean, brother, it runs something through my soul, that women feel this way, how capricious they are about particular things, especially when it comes to black men. I don't personally know any brother that want a sister to be subservient, to be submissive. I think that's a term that the conservatives, the right, throw out there just to help maintain a division. What do you think?
Well, I didn't catch that broadcast, but is that what it was about? Women dismissing, or black women dismissing black men for some reason?
Yes, that's what it was about. Yes, brother. It was strong, and I recommend that you watch it. You know, but I know today you still know to some degree what black men and black women are going through.
Yeah,
As far as relation go.
right. As far as I can see it, I haven't seen too much change, because I, for quite some time, separated myself from actually dealing with that constant, except maybe when I go out to an entertainment, as karaoke or something. But other than that, I'm usually by myself, man. And that is because I've gotten to the point that, I'm a lot older than you. So, no, I'm not smarter than you. I'm just older. And being old, it kind of slows me down, For instance, I can hardly see. But before we go any further, there's one thing that I got on my mind.
Yes, sir. But I was going to ask you, was there something particular you wanted to discuss?
Well, first of all, I was going to say this, that how's this thing going? For instance, we got here the universal church, religion, cosmic law, new church. And I know when we've been talking in the past, especially down here where you can't see it, ladies and gentlemen, but it says, don't come looking for God. You won't find him unless you bring him. And most people would say, that's great. But, since you've been doing it for a while, what has been the reception from the people that have heard it?
Well, the average person is curious. But those who are what they call Christians, they just back completely up off me because they don't know the Bible. Everything I say about religion, especially Christianity, I'm coming from the Bible. I don't opine. I don't give you my opinion. I come from the scriptures, and they still back away from me because they are lacking in the Bible. They just believe in the Bible, and I know the Bible because I study it.
So it basically aligns with the idea that most people really don't know anything except what they've been trained. Even from coming here, from the indoctrination, from the point of birth all the way up until they make a change. And I say that because for me, I've been out here, at least you've heard me say it, for 40 years, and I've struggled. And I'm not trying to suggest to the public that I've been perfect. I've been me, and I've done basically anything that most people do. I've done everything. Some of it is good, some of it is bad, but there ain't no shame in my game. I can claim it all. But what I'm finding out right now, regardless of the efforts and the time that I've invested in what I would call a better way of life, a better society, is not doing anything. And so that causes me, at this late age in my life, to recognize something. That as far as trying to go out and lead people and tell people something like that, I learned that that's a waste of time. Why did I learn that? Because nobody led me anywhere. Nobody taught me anything. I mean, I've seen some things that were positive that I appreciate. Yeah. But anything that I can hold up and I stand up on is what I learned from dealing with what I had to deal with in this life. And I know you have too. Could you say something about that?
Well, you mentioned indoctrination. You asked why people are like they are. And if you know the definition of indoctrination, then you have all your answers in there, in the definition, which is to teach or program a set of beliefs to a group or an individual that believes it unconditionally or uncritically. They don't think about what they've been taught. They just accept. That's indoctrination. People just accept what they've been taught, and what they've been taught is a damn lie. Okay, and that's hard. There's a universal axiom that goes, it's easier to fool the people than it is to convince the people that they have been fooled. With that approach, or knowing that, you have a different approach. So I don't go to talk to people. I go to challenge them. I want a fight with you. I want to expose your bullshit. I want the people to see. I'm talking about the people, like I said, the young is curious. I want them to see. Do not follow this lie. And if you follow the Bible, first of all, the Bible is a lie. And those who follow it, they are liars. Okay? So the Bible is a lie, and the people who believe it are liars. It's just that simple. And I don't want, or at least I want to expose that. I don't want to convince nobody of anything. I want to show you a damn lie for believing this shit.
When it comes down to exposing, one of the things that basic human rights for all people has been about is exactly that. what you do is you expose what is corrupt, expose what is a lie, but don't just leave it there. Share with them a possible solution, something that you have determined would be appropriate.
Well, see, now we're coming back to the Universal New Church. See, here, like I said, don't come looking for God here. You won't find him unless you bring him with you. Now, every person that I know, just about black, love God. There's no doubt about it. So I know God is in them. Okay? I know God is there. That is not the question. I'm not here to debate you about your faith. I'm here to debate you about religion. I'm here to debate man, which I'm here to, again, I got to put it this way. I'm here to debate what man say God said. That's it. Not your faith in God. Not if God exists or not. I know that he do and I know that you do. But I am saying I'm exposing a lie man telling you about God. Sorry about that, brother. Go ahead.
Got a little problem right there, ladies and gentlemen, something that had to be dealt with. But what I really want to also add to what you were saying, man, is I totally agree with what you say, because it's nothing new to me. Because you and I personally have been doing it. And we've seen a lot of leaders out here who basically call themselves leading, and they're caught up in the same old traditional stuff that everybody else is. Me, myself, I'm thinking, for me, that there's one thing that's going to have to happen. If you went to my car right now, I got a few signs out there that I'm dropping throughout the community, maybe just asking people to watch some of the things that I say on Facebook or YouTube. And if it has any benefit, then it does. But I've convinced myself that the easiest way for me to accomplish the last days of my life in the struggle is what I say, walk it, and let it go wherever it leads me. And it ain't asking for nobody to follow me. You can go to hell if that's what you choose to do. But I want you to know that this speaks for individuals, and perhaps it'll speak for, just like you said it. You just said it's the same thing is working for you.
That's right.
And that's all we're trying to do, ladies and gentlemen, is to get you to see that if you're looking for something, you're not going to find it outside yourselves. You got to go within yourself. Now, you might be blessed if you happen to run across some people like you, like family, you want to call them that. So,
Well, I just want to interject right here and pick up where I left off about, belief. Like I said before, this is not about your faith. This is not about God. This is about what man say God said. So that's the problem. They got us believing in God. That's the problem. See, belief is a doubt, man.
Amen.
Belief is unsure. It's a maybe. Your name is Ed Marcus, right?
That's what they say.
No, do you believe that or do you know it?
Well, I believe that.
Okay. Your mother, did you believe she was your mother or you knew she was your mother?
Well, based upon when they told me, I believe that. Now, I know where you're going. For the most.
Okay. Are we on camera right now or do you believe we're on camera?
Well, I know we're on camera.
Okay. Are we in this building or do you believe we're in this building?
I tell you, man, I'm here.
Okay. Do you know in God or do you believe in God?
I know in God.
Okay. The people only believe in God. That comes from the indoctrination.
Well,
Go ahead, bro.
Why would you suggest that people have to avail themselves in order to get that knowledge, that true knowledge that separates knowledge from belief?
Once again, man, when my mission is to expose the ones who have been lying to them, who maintaining the lie, who continuously having them to be liars. That's my job. I have one debate coming up next month in October, and I intend to crucify this brother because I'm fed up with the nonsense, man. I mean, I'm fed up with this complete lie. When you talk to a person and then you ever talk to a mental person, you say hi to them and they seem coherent, all of a sudden they go off to a crazy land.
Exactly.
Well, that's what people do when they talk about religion. I mean, you're not talking about God no more. You're talking about what man said God said.
Most example of that is I knew a lady once, and doing what we do, I had a conversation with her, and I was going to start talking about God. She shut me up and told me I don't have to tell her a thing about God because her mama went to church and mama taught her all about God. It has nothing to do with what she knows about God. She's believing that her mother believes enough that's sufficient for her. And it allows her to walk accordingly in our society accepted what's going on, whether it might work for her or not. She just accepts it.
Yes. I said earlier, brother, I come out of the Bible. I use the scriptures to make my point. Now, I call the book a lie because it's only a copy of something. If you don't know what the copy is, then you're going to believe that's the original. All right? Mm-hmm. The Bible is not the original so-called word of God. Mm-hmm. What was? This is what I mean. Do due diligence. Do a little homework. Don't be indoctrinated. Just don't accept, even though your mama or whoever told you all this stuff. See, God is real. Man is the great magician. He got you believing in the illusion. He have deviated you from your, now the word is abbreviated. What your natural course is, man have deviated you from it. Okay? He got you now believing in him as opposed to what the universe says. Okay? Mm-hmm. Go ahead, brother.
And an example of that is basically when you, over the past several weeks, maybe more than that, people have been saying that the Supreme Court is the God of our Constitution within the United States of America. And yet we turn around and we find out how corrupted the Supreme Court is by the way how they established it, and they established it in a way so it could present to the public what is accordingly white supremacy has accepted as the way that they want everybody else to conform. Right. And so whether we agree with that or not, that's what's coming down to us. And if they are forcing that with laws and rules and regulations that when you violate it or go against that, they can put you in jail or penalize you, something like that. Mm-hmm. They are basically not only manipulating people, they're forcing people to act a different, strange kind of way outside of what you just mentioned as being natural.
Yes.
And so that being the case, you know, I'm looking at this thing like people are constantly doing exactly what they think is the best thing to do. And even though it might work against them. So I'm just thinking again, as I go, I mentioned earlier that I'm getting kind of old, you know, I'm trying to leave this game alone for you young people and younger people, you know. And I have seen, man, that it doesn't matter what the Bible says. It doesn't matter what society says. The God that I know has instilled in me and brought it out of me to understand what God is and what true love is. And basically that I would see that being separate from the way the world is. Basically, more specifically, I would see that in the God that I know of, it's about peace. It's about prosperity and freedom. It's about joy. It's about love. And it's about whenever the manifestation of whatever man can imagine that he puts his hand to, that any human being, not just American, on earth, could access it. For the simple reason is that I see that as a tool the way God works. You know, give people something to do, they do it and make it beneficial. And let me identify that. There are things that are common amongst all of us. Food, clothing, shelter, education, healthcare, and those other things. Now, when you can meet the basic needs, the basic wants, and the basic desires of the people, you're doing a very good job. And it takes away the need to go the other way, which is not everybody's benefiting. The masses are suffering. A few are benefiting. In order to achieve that, they got to lie, they got to cheat, they got to steal, cause poverty, which is going to create crime and violence, which is going to create hatred and racism and bigotry. And this is all apparent in America, and I'm sure in most places around the world. I recognize that some places, like a house, you got a living room or, you know, various rooms. So one might be called democracy, another one called socialism, communism, or dictatorship, or whatever. But they all represent the anti-God, because none of them produces that which the God that we're talking about and trying to share with people produces. What do you think about that?
Well, like I said, the people have been indoctrinated. So if you try to teach them or want to give them basic things like shelter and things of that nature, you preach it to the choir if they already possess those things. You know what I mean? If they already have a house to go to, right. You know, you preach to the choir. And the choir is maintained by the preacher. Right. You know what I mean? Right. So whatever the preacher is talking about, the choir follows, you know, or the choir director. You know, they believe in the songs they singing. So if you come with a different song and it's not even what they call religious, this is why you're not being heard. Okay. So I'm coming to challenge what they call religion. Now, it's a lot of people in the choir would be curious. They sit back and say, if you can say some things, especially if you're coming out of the book that they believe. Okay? So if you say, hey, look, why did Jesus say this? And they never heard that from their preacher. Ever. Now you got their attention. Because they believe this. They believe this. They've been indoctrinated to believe this. Okay? So if you say some things that they haven't heard, or you give them a different narrative than the one they've been programmed to execute, some human beings can stop and be critical about the things that they believe. Some. And that's all you can do.
Like, for instance, in the political arena today, you got a lot of people who's talking about religion and talking about democracy and the church and Christianity. And in fact, they've armed Jesus with a gun to go out and protect what the ideas of the Republicans are. They have I heard the woman Bobbitt, I might be missing her name, and she was saying there's no difference between the church and the state. The church was put here to guide the state. I remember years ago, a lot of people used to think that if the church says it, then the state is supposed to run by it. So it doesn't mean that there's any perfection in it. For instance, in the Bible, as you would say, I'm sure the audience, about the slavery and how people were abused in the Bible. And for these people to say that today, in our present time, holding it up and giving them reasons to go back to Jim Crow, which is never left, or to go back to something worse than Jim Crow, to legitimize it using the scripture, using the Bible. And what I wanted, ladies and gentlemen, I noticing my time is running short, and I wanted to take a moment to talk with someone that I have been knowing for at least about 30 years, and we met in the right place, and I have been glued to him ever since that was in the 90s, wasn't it, man?
Yes, it was.
Glued to that, not because he's just a friendly guy, but because we talk about the things we talk about. We don't argue about the things that's real. We the stupid stuff we don't even talk about that because we recognize the stupid stuff. And I just wanted to take a moment in time, ladies and gentlemen, just share another person with you that is not me, but knows more about the truth than I do, or at least more. I'm gonna say more than I do. I'm too old. I forgot stuff. And I wanted to let you be introduced to him. And T, I'd like for you to wrap this thing up, man. What do you want to leave with this public that watches this YouTube post?
Well, like I stated, my mission is not to try to convince somebody. Like I said, it's easier to fool the people than it is to convince the people they have been fooled. Okay, that's not my mission. That's a battle you probably won't win if they convinced already. You know, my mission is just to expose the lie that's been told. That's all I want to do. And there is another universal axiom that says the most potent weapon in the hand of the oppressor is the mind of the oppressed. So, brother, if you don't believe, sister, if you don't believe that you're oppressed, ain't nothing. You don't even listen to me. I ain't got nothing for you, because I'm gonna be saying things contrary to your confidence, you know, or you being comfortable in this thing. So the only thing I can leave you with is my job is just to expose the lie that's being told. That's it, my brother.
Okay, brother, I want to thank you so very much for giving me this your time.
Yes,
and ladies and gentlemen, once again, I want to thank you so very much for stopping at this post. Remembering, basic human rights for all people is liberation for every individual, not just me or you, but everyone.
Okay, one more thing, and I'm going to exit the house, go up to the school and watch the kids come out. Brother Sammy C, calling you out once again. I don't know what's your how many people followers you got, if they know him or not. But this is a public announcement to anyone that's seeing me right now to seek out the brother Sammy C, Sammy Watkins, and tell him, Brother Servant TS is looking for a debate with him regarding the things that he say he believes. And I'm going to be debating him about those things that I know.
Is Sammy C a preacher?
Yes.
All right. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, That's it.
That's it, bro.
Thank you very much. Have a good day.